about how do we delete data in DSOs. Slightly variance. Okay. Data in DSO. Again. Delete data again. Deletion by request. Delete change. So deleting data, deletion by request, select deletion, delete change log data. These are 4 ways you can delete data in the DSO. Now first option, deleting all the data bus. Right click on the DSO and I would say what? Right click, say what? Delete data. You'll also have in the right option in the right click, and there is also option in this. So when you go to manage, some people get confused here. This is also deleting all content only. Click on this. Yes, I want to delete all the data in the DSO. Done. Everything is deleted now. It does delete data in new table, active table, change log. All the tables are cleaned out. Okay, boss? That's how deleting all data. Boss.
So it is then like 10 data are coming to DSO.
10?
10 deltas are coming to DSO. And then each delta went from the one in your queue. Now you delete the second request from your queue.
Wait, first let's finish up this, then I'll come back. Now, concentrate on this one, then you'll understand your doubt. I know, understand yours. About all the 4 requests, I would like to activate all the 4. I have loaded 4 requests to DSO, and did I activate all the 4 at a time? Yes or no? Now look at this. Yesterday someone was stressing me on, does it generate unique activation request for every request? Yes, if you activate separately. But this time 522, 523, 524, 525, we activate all the 4 at a time. So for all the 4, what is the activation request here? Is it same? If you go to right, 9Z-day1, 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 so does it have activation request common for all? Yes or no? So when the activation request is common, now let's say I select this request and say delete. How will it delete generally? Okay, now look at this. Because when you go to the active table, do you know which record has come in with which request? In cube, you know which record has come in with which request, but active table doesn't know which record has come in with which request, right? So when you delete this request, what it does is, it will select this, when you delete, it will find out what is my activation request, okay, then goes to change log, deletes all the entries of this activation request. Does it delete all the 10? Because all the 10 records belongs to the same activation. It is going to delete all the records where my activation request is so and so. Okay, means it does not delete this in the change logs. It finds out the activation request. Based on this, it rolls back the data in, because with the change log, it knows what records have come in. Once it identifies what record has come in from the change log, it rolls back the data back to the previous state, because what is this? Overwriting this. Okay. So now what happens is, even if I delete this request, it will delete all the requests below it also, because they all belong to same activation request. See, is it getting, does it delete all the things? Why? Because all of them have the same activation request. Clear? Okay. It has removed those changes in the chain log, so automatically the data is rolled back to previous status what it was before loading all the 4. Now I will bring all the 4 again. What was the problem previously? Why when it deleted one request, why it has deleted even the request below it also? Because all the requests were active at a time and all of them had the same activation request. That was my problem. So I need to solve that now. So again I got 4. I am going to activate all the 4. But when I am activating all the 4, I would like to make sure each request is activated separately. Even though I am activating all the 4 at a time, but each request should have its own activation so that I will not have the problem of getting deleted everything. Here, the checkbox. What is checkbox? Do not condense request into one request when activation takes place. When I do this, what happens? Each request will get a different activation request. Activate all requests. You getting what I am saying? Even though you are activating multiple requests at a time, you can enable this checkbox and say each request gets a different checkbox again, okay, a different activation request. Done. Look at this. Now I get all this 4 now. But if you see, each one has got 31, 32, 33 different activation requests. Boss. Yes or no, boss? Now when I delete this request now, how does it delete that request? It goes to change log, deletes the data of this of this activation request and moves the status back automatically what it was before loading this request. I remember I loaded this, what data did you load with the last request? We made it as 7,000 and 9,000. You remember? I remember exactly. I loaded that request for 7,000 and 9,000, but this was, before loading this was actually 2,500. You remember? And this was around 5,000 previously, right? So, because it is overwriting, right? So, when I delete this request here, it goes to the change log, okay, finds out the changes of this activation. E request, how does it know what changes we brought in with this request? With the change log. So with this 4 entries, I know 5,000 was changed to 7,000, 2,500 was changed to 9,000. It deletes these 4 records. So when these 4 records are deleted, it moves the status back to what? What it was before loading this request. So it goes back to what? 2,500 and 5,000. So when it deletes this, will it delete the request below it? No, why? They all belong to different activation requests. Done. So does it delete all this? Now it's not about just getting the request deleted. If I go to active table, I should find them back to what? 2,500, 5,000. So is it rolling back the status back what it was before loading? ఈ రిక్వెస్ట్ రాకముందు ఎలా ఉందో ఆ స్టేజ్కి వెళ్ళిపోయింది డేటా. వెళ్ళిపోయిందిరా అంటే ఏమైనా ద చేంజ్ లాక్ డేటా వుడ్ బి డిలీటెడ్ ఫర్ దట్ రిక్వెస్ట్. ఇది మధ్యాహ్నం ఉంది. Actually this should get deleted actually. Those undi, but those will get deleted. Believe me, okay? Don't believe the system, okay? This is about deleting on the request base. Clear on this? Still one more point you should know. One second. Let me finish, then you ask any doubt you want. Now 7,000, see, first it was 5,000, I changed it to 7,000, and this was 2,500, remember the value, change it to 9,000, I am changing this 9,000 to what? 11,000, and I am changing this 7,000 to 21,000, okay? Remember the values, okay? Now let me load the DDP. So DDP is going to get the new request now. Totally 5 new requests, 5 requests. 5 have come in. So let me activate all the 5. And I don't want to condense them into one. So I want each of them should have a different activation request. Remember, request number 513. Actually, when we load 538, first record had a value of 5,000, second record had a value of 2,500, and when I loaded this request 539, the 5,000 was changed to 7,000 and 2,500 was changed to 9,000. Again when I loaded 540, 7,000 was changed to 21,000 and 9,000 was changed to 11,000. Clear? Done. Activated. Now I would like to delete this 539. let's take one record first. It was 5,000, then you change it to what? You overwrote 7,000 and then you overwritten with what? 11,000. Now you're trying to delete the one which is in the middle. So can this exist? In the cube it is additive bus. You will send a record with 1,000, then you send a record with 2,000, then you send it with a record with 1,000. Nothing is overwritten there. Each one has got physical existence. But here everything is overwritten now. 5,000 is overwritten with 7,000, 7 is overwritten with 21,000 for instance. Yeah. Now I want to delete the record which is brought in as 7,000 bus. Can this still be hold 21,000? Is a record of 21 still holds good? No. ఒక ప్లేట్ మీద ఇంకో ప్లేట్ పెట్టిన మధ్యలో ప్లేట్ తీయాలంటే ఫస్ట్ పైన ప్లేట్ తీయాల్సిందే కదన్నా. When 5,000 is overwritten with 7,000, 7,000 is overwritten with 21,000. If I need to remove 7,000, first I need to remove back the change of 21. Only then I can remove back the changes of 7,000. Otherwise I can't, because my change log holds the changes like what? Before 5, after 7, before 7, after 11, 21. So if I want to remove the changes in the second changes, I need to remove the third changes. Then only I can remove the second. That's why when it delete a request in 539, it does also delete the request above it. It will also delete the request below it if it belongs to same activation request. If I delete a request, it does delete requests above it, irrespective whether they belong to same activation request or not. It will also delete the request below it if they belong to same activation request. ఈ రిక్వెస్ట్ డిలీట్ చేస్తే దానిపైన ఉన్న రిక్వెస్ట్ మాత్రం 100% వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. ఎందుకు? ఈ రెండు యాక్టివేషన్ రిక్వెస్ట్ సేమ్ ఉన్నా లేకున్నా. కానీ దాని కింద మాత్రం యాక్టివేషన్ రిక్వెస్ట్ సేమ్ ఉన్నప్పుడే డిలీట్ అవుతాయి. అది పాయింట్. చూడండి, 539 డిలీట్ చేస్తే 540 until unless it rolls back the changes of 540, it cannot roll back 539. That's the point. But in the cube, if I delete the middle one, it doesn't delete the top one. That no problem in the cube. But in the ODS, you have those problems. Because it has to maintain the serialization. So ODS is override. It has to maintain the serialization of posting. That is important. Clear on this? Everyone is done. Okay. So that is one aspect. So all the requests are activated. Now I am loading it to cube. So does it take as first delta? Will it take it as init? Yeah, it takes those two records again, because we did not add as any new records. All two records from the init. Now tell me, what is your doubt? You understood this deletion by request?
Then it was showing up my queue. Now I deleted the request that came on the second queue. If I deleted from the queue, it's gone from the queue, that's fine. But what about the data mart status in my DSO?
I understand what this is. It will reset data mart status for everything. But actually this might take 0 records, I think. Okay, now in the DSO I've got two sets of deltas. So now all these 5 are loaded with request 556 and the next one was loaded with 559. So now in the cube you just trying to delete this request 556. I think it should remove completely. It is not deleting any status because it is assuming when you process the next delta, the previous delta was successful. It is not deleting. In this case, see it is not deleting the data mart status. No, deleted, right? But it is not. So what you can do? It says this is loaded, but this is not loaded. So in this case, what you can just go in, manually set this. It is deleting data mart status, but not updating here. It is deleting the request, but status is not. So you have this is delete the request in the DSO. I don't think if you do delta, it will bring those records again. You are not. That's wrong one. You delete. So this will create inconsistency in the cube and DSO. So your question is how to handle this. That's what it is. Then now you delete it in the cube. Now the DSO and cube doesn't match up. Only thing is I think you should drop the cube and do full load again. That's the only option. I think you should drop this and load it back. I should delete all the data like this because you don't know which changes have come in. So again, if I do this now the data mart status goes. Now you have to rerun the delta again. That's the only option. Yeah. You have to rerun. You have to delete and reload. That's the only option. Next one, what is selective deletion? Same like cube, I can also do selective deletion in my DSO also. Go to contents. What is the button here? Selective deletion. Delete selections, and just give any selection you want. East doesn't make sense. But I think all the records are East only, right? Okay, East I'll say. So when you do selective deletion, it only deletes from active table, does not affect change log. So will that create any problem?
So if a report is when it will report from active data, that will run from DSO. Load data into further objects, it will load the delta, but if it done selective deletion before loading, report should enter the report.
No, I'm asking about if I do selective deletion, it does do the deletion in the active table. So it does not delete the change log. So will it create, and when you do delta load from this DSO to the cube, from which table does it take from? Change log. So that you deleted some data in the DSO, but it's still in the change log, it is going to the cube. So we'll have inconsistency with the cube and DSO now. DSO data is deleted, but the cube still has got the data because it has got the data from where? From change log. So that's why generally it's not suggested to do a selective deletion on DSO. Generally not suggested. But until unless if the DSO is a top level object and there is no next level object, then makes sense. But otherwise, if it is connected to data mode, not proposed.
So what's the logic? Can deleting data from or change log and not deleting from?
Because when you do deletion, selective deletion will only clean active table. It does not delete change log. But when you do delta load, it takes from where? From the change log to the next level queue. So I deleted some record in the active table, but not reflecting changes to the change log. So from here, the data goes to cube. So cube will have the record of east, but the DSO will not have east. So do we have discrepancy in the data in cube and DSO? That's why it is not suggested to do select. Even if you do deletion, perform the deletion in the cube, then do the same deletion in the DSO. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Okay. Next is what? What is deleting changelog data? I just want to clean up only changelog data. I still have the active table data, but I want to delete changelog.
This verification will not, verification review will not change anything at the change of. So my deltas are good. So whatever it says that whatever I've sent already, don't worry about it. So much stays in that.
So I got this changelogs. I would like to delete it, but deleting changelog will not delete active table. Okay. So how do you do this? I'm in the manage of the queue. Go to environment menu. Say what? Delete changelog database. Now you have two criteria. In the changelog, it is always on the request, right? So it says delete all the requests which are older than 5 days. I said. Then what happens? It deletes data in the changelog of the request which has come in 5 days back. Or if I say delete all the requests which has come in before this date. Now let's say I give some future date, so it doesn't delete all the requests now. So based on the number of days wise or date wise, you can give the criteria and then say start conditions immediate and then say what? Start. Before, so this been passed. Done. If you see changelog, what did I say? When I said before immediate kanta mundu, yeah. So let me just give it something in future. What is the problem? Any request what is being loaded okay, so what? Why can't this be larger? One 12/2007. So it is taking current date as 2017 loan. I just have to give some future date and then start it. I think my server date is something around 2012 something, okay. Yeah, delete gala. Basically I need to specify some date which is future date, but I don't know, somehow it's not accepting. First let me get the date of the request, then 21/01/2014. 2014, right? Normal taxes, but I don't know, this doesn't tax. but not delete anything now. Before means, but all my data is in 21st కూడా. Okay, lovers, it is only accepting to specify 1 day old. Means I cannot delete this request today, tomorrow I can delete it. That's how it is. There is nothing getting deleted because there is nothing request which has got loaded on 20th. So tomorrow I will be able to delete it. That's all. But the point is, if we delete selected deletion, what could be the problems? That's what they ask you in the interviews. If I delete data in the change log, what could be the problems we face? Change log data delete అయిపోతే problems ఏం ఉండొచ్చు? What could be the consequences? ఏం problems ఉండొచ్చు? Delta. So if I delete data in the change log, I will miss out the delta records what has to be loaded to my next level cube. So one precaution is, I will only after loading into cube I will delete data in the change log, not before that. Only after loading from ODS to cube I will delete data in the change log, otherwise no. అంటే ODS నుంచి పైన క్యూబ్ లోడ్ చేసిన తర్వాతనే చేంజ్ లాగ్ టేబుల్ డేటా డిలీట్ చేస్తారు, లేకపోతే చైన్. ఓకే బస్ ఫైన్, దట్ ఈస్ వన్. అండ్ వాట్ కుడ్ బి అదర్ ప్రాబ్లమ్? Yeah, if you delete data in the change log, you will not be able to perform request wise deletion because you don't know which request is brought in, what changes. If you delete data in the change log, you will not be able to perform request wise deletion in the DSO because you don't know which request is brought in, what changes. For now I am not using any time or something here, but you understand this, if I delete data in change log, it affects the delta loads from DSO to the next level target because delta goes from change log. So that's why after loading data to cube successfully, only then we should delete change log database. And one more option is, if I delete change log data, I cannot delete the request wise in the DSO because you don't know which request is brought in, what changes. ఏ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఏ చేంజెస్ తెలిసిందన్నట్టు, ఏ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఏ చేంజెస్ వచ్చిందని తెలుసాలంటే మనకు చేంజ్ లాగ్ డేటా ఉండాల్సింది. ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ చేంజ్ లాగ్ డేటా, యూ నాట్ నో విచ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఇస్ బ్రాట్ ఇన్, వాట్ చేంజెస్ ఇంటూ ఇట్. క్లియర్? ఓకే.